G'day everyone. For you dinosaur lovers out there, I've been doing a few little experiments as of late and I have come across this black egg, which I believe is the Indoraptor. Yep, I think I was right. And I've also come across this white egg, which I think might be the Indominus Rex. I was right about that one too. But today we're going to learn how to make this bad girl. So stay tuned, don't forget to subscribe and enjoy the video. You'll want to make a simple foil armature for this dinosaur, and I've been using translucent Sculpey clay. This is a mix of the Primo, and I'll mix in some of the Sculpey 3 as well. Just makes the clay a little bit tackier for me to play with. You'll also want some granite clay, and I add a touch of white to get the Indominus Rex's colour. This gives a really natural kind of vibe for the skin. Now I use my cutting mat to measure out my clay. That way I get the components like the legs and arms the same size every time. Once that's done, I just roll them into little balls to make it a lot easier to sculpt later. Okay, when you've done that, grab your little foil armature and we'll use the scrap clay to just smooth it over the top. I usually set my pass to size 2 for this. Once the armature is completely wrapped, just go over with your finger and smooth it. Alright, you'll want to shape your tail at this point and give it another smooth over. I'll also be adding a little bit more dimension. This will make it a little bit thicker because we want it to look nice and raptorish. Okay, when you're happy with that, we'll move on to the back legs. So I do these in 2 parts. This will be where the feet and claws are, and the next part is basically the upper thigh. And we'll just join the 2 together. This also helps keep proportions correct for me. You might have a different way of doing it. Now I'm just cutting up the toes. I really enjoy doing this part. I love getting those big thick claws. Okay, and we want to do a couple of little dew claws as well. I use my ballpoint tool here to make a little indentation to stick the claw into. And you'll just want to texture it up so it looks nice and realistic. These are just little skin indentations, folds in the skin. And I'll do that to the rest of the foot and around the claws. Okay, when you're happy with that, size them up, have them look. Now we'll move on to the front arms. The process for these is very much the same as the feet. Okay, I make my own glass eyes for my sculptures. These are just plain glass capuchons that I have used acrylic paint on. Now we're going to start doing the head. I always sculpt my head separate from the sculpture. Some people like to sculpt it onto the actual armature. Okay, Okay, now we're going to add the eyes in. This is a tricky part because you want to make sure that they line up equally so he doesn't look a bit doopy. Once you're happy, press them in and start shaping around the outside. I want to give her a more aggressive look, so I'm adding some thicker eyebrows here. Now for the mouth, I just cut into the clay. And I just keep fiddling and shaping it until I'm happy. I use a ballpoint pen tool for the nostrils. And when you're happy with the general shape of the head, line it up and cut a hole in the back, ready to attach to the rest of the body. Just press it firmly on there. And then we'll go around the edge with some extra clay to smooth over the neck. Okay, the next part we're going to do is a spine down her back. I just grab an extra piece of clay and start smoothing that on. Now we can detail some of the face, adding some kind of scaly textures here to the eyebrows. Okay, now that that's done, we want to add a scaly texture to the rest of the body. I've made this really cool texture tool here. What you'd want to do is just grab a piece of scrap clay, roll it up into the shape that you would be happy to hold on to. I just use this shape. And then grab your ballpoint tool and just dab little holes into it. After you bake this, it makes the perfect little texture tool for scaly reptile scales. So grab your little tool and just start pressing it in where you want that pattern to show up. Okay, we're just adding some little grooves down the spine. This is so we can make a few spikes and also add a few spikes to her head. Okay, now we're going to move on to making a tongue. I just use a bit of pink clay with some pearlescent clay mixed in. Just cut out your tongue shape, give it a bit of a groove, and you can just pop it into a mouth. I just press it down to make sure it doesn't come out. Okay, now we can continue texturing the back of the dinosaur. Once the legs are all textured, you can begin to start positioning them on the body of the dinosaur. Once you're happy, just press them firmly into the sides. And I like to just go over and texture them again wherever I've pressed my fingers in. Now you can put the front claws on. I'm just trying to go for a cute little cuddly pose, so you can always play with it once they're attached. When you're happy with that, grab your pan pastels. I've got a light grey and a darker grey here, and a really soft brush to apply it, and just start gently rubbing it over the dinosaur. I want to leave her belly and her feet and claws basically untouched, because the translucent clay will give her a nice tummy colour. Once you're happy with that, grab your paper and your towel and get ready to bake her in the oven. You want to do it at 130 degrees Celsius or 275 degrees Fahrenheit. I forgot to add the teeth before, so I did do a second bake to pop them in. But now she's ready to paint. So I'm just using some black airbrush paint here because it goes on nice and smooth. And we're just going to do her claws. Once her claws are all painted and dried, she'll be ready for a little cuddle.
Who's a bad girl? Yeah? Who?
Oh, thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something new. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and we'll see you in the next video. See ya!